Anthony drives one. Deep left center field. Back goes Campana to the wall. It's out of here!
Alrighty, how's it going, Mets and overall baseball fans? Thank you guys so much for chiming in for the latest live show here on WardyNYM. I would first like to apologize for all my loyal live viewers here right now watching the show at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time this Friday, February 17th. I meant to go live at least 20 minutes earlier. Unfortunately, I have been having some technical issues. I got to free up some storage space. I wasn't able to edit a graphic that I wanted to. Not that it was anything crazy, but just something to add on to the template today to get some highlights and just some fun clips from spring training array that you guys see to the side of me. But we have a big show today because for at least hopefully the next hour or so, I'm going to be answering all of your Mets questions, any dying questions that you guys have to ask for me. We're going to just do an open Q&A, talking shop, all things New York Mets here on this Friday evening. But the big thing today is that we'll also be doing the long-awaited jersey giveaway of giving away one lucky jersey to one lucky winner, either a Justin Verlander jersey or a Kodai Senga jersey, whichever the random winner ends up wanting here in the live show. And how we're going to pick that winner is shortly into the show, is I'm just going to pick a random comment without even looking at the live stream. I'm going to tell you guys all that are watching the live show to just start spamming your comments, saying LGM or LFGM, one of the two. Not yet, but we'll do it in a minute. Then I'm going to randomly look away. I'm going to pick one of your comments, and then I'll tell you how you can, in fact, contact me in case you do not know, and that way I can get your info and send a jersey your way. Get all that fun stuff. So again, I originally had intentions of doing this jersey giveaway a while ago, back when we hit 20,000 subscribers on the channel. Now we're over 21K. But really, the Carlos Correa saga really pushed things for a bit because that was a month plus after we originally hit 20K. And then things have just been hectic over the past month for me. So I'm happy to get this out for you now. I know that this won't be a massive live stream either. So for everyone that's watching the show, this is going to benefit you. This is not a live stream where we're doing it where there's going to be 500 to 1,000 concurrent viewers. It's kind of a dead spot in the year right before spring training games are getting unrolling. So for all the OGs watching the live show, I appreciate you guys being in here. You have a better chance than really ever to win a free jersey of Senga or Verlander. And if you're wondering, why wasn't I able to be involved? Just try to make sure you're involved in the future. I've let everyone know. I've kept you guys up to date about this. I posted yesterday or the day before, the past 2 days, that would be doing a jersey giveaway today. So I'm hoping that a lot of you guys are able to pay attention to that. If you miss out, make sure to chime in for more giveaways in the future once we hit other milestones, things of that nature. But without further ado, I think now is a perfect time. Before I get to your questions, let's just start with the giveaway, right? I think that's important. I know that's why a lot of you guys are chiming in. We're waiting so patiently for me. But before we get into it all, just have to let you all know that today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Make sure you head over to BetOnline.ag using promo code Bleav at BLEAV. That way you get yourself a 50% off welcome bonus. BetOnline, it's where the games begin. And now, folks, let's officially let the show begin. Jacob, shout out to you, my awesome editor. He's going to be one of the people that I'm going to have working for the channel this year. That's going to be a lot of fun. He came up with the new intro for the channel. Hope you guys like that. So much new and fun stuff is coming on the channel this year. That was a great one. So shout out to you, Jacob. Appreciate your help. But all right, guys, I see everyone spamming LGM or LFGM. So what we're going to do, I even see the winner from last time we did a giveaway, which is K-Swiss. That's when we did a Mad Max bobblehead, ticker bobblehead, that a strikeout counter bobblehead we did towards the end of last season. Happy to have you back in here. So guys, I'm going to look away. I'm going to just randomly scroll up and down in the live stream without looking at the chat, so there's no bias or anything like that. I'm going to click on a comment, and whoever's comment I click on, you are going to be the automatic winner. So all you are going to have to do then is get in contact with me, which will be through my email, which I should have available somewhere on the channel. But if I don't, I will add it to the description, or just make sure to reach out to me on Twitter, and I'll put my email even here in the comments, whatever needs to happen. And when you guys do reach out to me, whoever that winner is, just make sure that you explain who you are, why you won, and make sure you give me the proper info that I make sure it's going to you and not some schmuck trying to be you. Okay. So now with that being said, let's get into it, guys. I'm not looking. I'm going to do a countdown from 5. All right. I'm going to do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Edwin. Oh, that's awesome. Shout out to you, Edwin, on being the winner. I recognize that name right away. Edwin, I'm almost certain that you've been a supporter on the channel for a bit. So shout out to you, Edwin, thank you so much. You are going to be the winner of the jersey for Kodai Senga or Justin Verlander. But guys, I am feeling a little bit generous today, so we are actually going to be doing 2 instead. And no, it's not rigged. Any schmuck that thinks it's rigged has no clue what they're talking about. I just recognize his name. I love when I see people that actually, like, I know are constantly chiming in to the channel and stuff like that. I recognize that name right away. So Edwin, you're going to be the first winner. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make sure you reach out to me right away, and we're going to actually do a second giveaway. This will not be for a jersey, but it will be for a jersey of Verlander or Senga. So either way, you will still be getting a giveaway to the second anonymous winner. We'll be doing that here in a second. But Edwin, I want to make sure in the live chat that you're able to reach out to me. Let's go. Edwin, do you follow me on Twitter? If you do, respond to the live chat right now. That'd be great. That way I know if you can just message me or hit me up on DM if we don't need to do email. So Edwin, get back to me in the live chat, and then we'll do our second giveaway. Just give me 1 second. Just want him to reply. I know for people on replay, this probably isn't the most enjoyable part of watching the show. I apologize. But again, I've been wanting to do this stuff for you guys for a while. You guys are great, and you've made this community so awesome. So I want to make sure this all gets reimbursed back to you guys. Need your email. Got you on Twitter. Okay, Edwin, reach out to me on Twitter. But this is my email, Edwin, just so you have it. All right, and there we go. That's the email, Edwin. Again, shout out to you for being the winner. But again, I recognize your name. I know who you are to a degree, so it shouldn't be difficult to track you down on Twitter. We'll start with that. All right, shout out to you, Edwin, for being the first winner. You're going to win the jersey. You can pick Verlander or Senga, whichever one you want. It's fine with me. Second giveaway now is going to be for a Senga or Verlander jersey. So again, a shirt jersey. You guys know the drill with those. Just feeling generous today. So we're going to do 2 giveaways, and everyone's getting the LGMs and the LFGMs rolling here in the live chat. So let's get it rolling. And of course, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button if you guys are chiming in the live show right now or on replay. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much in advance, guys. Help us get to a couple hundred likes by the end of the show. And of course, guys, just make sure you're a subscriber on the channel, and that's your way of having a chance along with putting in the comments. So now let's get to our second random winner. I'm going to do a countdown from 5 one more time, and then that'll be it, guys. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Did it not click anything? All right. Hold on. We're going to do the countdown again. It didn't click. I don't know why it didn't click. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Still not clicking anything. There we go. Ida. I know who Ida is. Wow. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Ida, you are going to be the second winner. Ida, I recognize you on the channel as well. I know that you've been a supporter for a while too. This is, I think, the first time out of giveaways that I actually recognize who the 2 people are. Ida, I know that you've been following the channel for at least a year, if not 2 now. So shout out to you. Again, we're going to get that your way. Ida, I'm pretty sure you follow me on Twitter, but if you don't, make sure to follow me there or check out my email that I showed earlier in the stream. The fix is in, says Bobby. Yes, this is totally fixed. Why can't people just be grateful? I'm sorry. Apologies to everyone that were not able to win this one. But again, be good spirits, because the more you be good spirits, the more you have a chance at being winner next time. Because again, this is just completely randomized. So don't be a sourpuss about it. But shout out Ida, shout out Edwin. You are the 2 winners. Ida, just feel free to shoot me a DM or just message me on Twitter, and we will get in contact as soon as the live stream is done. Same thing with you, Edwin. Happy for both of you guys. And I know Grant at Jenny Metz is a little bit of a sourpuss in this one, so that's funny. I'm a grateful Mets fan. I'm happy to hear that. But again, appreciate you, Ida. Appreciate everyone that entered. I'm really happy to get these your way. And Ida, you'll just have to clarify with me, obviously. Also, if you want it in women's or if you want it in men's, because I know that there are a lot of women that like men's jerseys. So I don't know if you're one of those or if you want it in a women's size, whatever works. Okay, guys, now let's get into the live show. Again, appreciate you guys being a part of that. That was a lot of fun. I always love giving back to you guys when I can. So now let's get into the live show. Again, today's show is going to be nothing more than just talking shop on the Mets and answering all of your questions. So whatever questions you have my way, for the OGs on the channel that have been following here for a long time, what we did, especially in our first 6 months, of the channel was really just endless live streams answering questions. And we still do that, but things have been more structured since then. But now that we're kind of in this hiatus of the new year just starting, games haven't really been underway yet. Now I feel is a good time to kind of just catch up with you guys and answer as many questions as I can for the next little bit. So that's what we're going to do. And let's just go down from there. Let's see. Robbie Grossman to the Rangers. Interesting pickup for them. Adding some depth to the outfield for them. Goes from Atlanta after being dealt there from Detroit last year to now with Jacob deGrom, who's not fully healthy. Can't say I'm surprised, which is unfortunate for him, but it is what it is, with the Texas Rangers. So now let's get into all the comments. Shout out all my live viewers, my members, all you guys. Thank you kindly for being in here. Let's see. How is Profar still not signed? Great question. Profar's market has completely dipped to the point where, like, I don't know if he's going to return to San Diego, but he probably is going to want a role where he can play every day somewhere. Like, I could see him kind of going the Brandon Drury route, Tommy Pham route from a year ago, going to like Cincy, just get extended playing time as long as there's availability there, or Colorado, maximize your at-bats and then potentially be dealt to a contender by the trade deadline. I think that's probably what's in store, unless you see a team like the Angels who are just going to pick up anyone and everyone still available and see where they could slot him. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it is interesting that he's still out there. Definitely interesting. 7-man rotation possible? No chance. I mean, 6-man isn't even going to happen now. So 7-man is definitely not something I foresee at the moment. Could it happen possibly down the stretch? Maybe. I think down the stretch, we're looking at a decent likelihood of 6-man, but 7-man is really pushing it. To start the year, the Mets will be 5-man rotation, and then they will go throughout the year as needed. I guarantee that there will probably be a point where they have 6-man going. Whether that's earlier or later in the year, that is yet to be seen. Rest assured, I do think that the rotation will be changing throughout the year in regards to not only who's the number 5 starter, but just like the depth overall, and really just want to expand things with Scherzer, Verlander, making sure that they get enough rest and are, again, feeling fresh for when you need the most, which is, of course, postseason. Why aren't I at spring training? Because I'm going to spring training on March 10th. Yeah, breaking news for people that aren't aware. If anyone is going to spring training this year, I will be there from March 10th to March 15th. I'm going to be there with a lot of other awesome YouTubers. Draftneck Mark will be there for the Mets. We'll be hanging out with him for a little bit. Going to be with Jim at Ballcap Sports. A lot of you guys know him. Robbie Hyde, my boy Robbie. Mike at Stark Raving Sports. A lot of fun people. I won't only be attending spring training throughout that 5-day span, but I also will be at the World Baseball Classic for a couple games in Miami. So March 10th to March 14th, look out for the short schmuck, which is me. I'll be in Port St. Lucie and in Miami, bouncing back and forth each of those days. Going to be a lot of fun. Hoping to get some vlog content out for you guys. Hopefully some interviews too during that time. Just going to have a blast. Never been to spring training before, so that will be a first-time experience for me. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And more than anything, I'm just looking forward to documenting my experience. It will be a little unorthodox. If I do post-game shows from spring training games, it'll most likely be from the games themselves, doing it off my phone like I've done mid-season for the Mets when I'm away and not physically able to watch the game in front of me. But it'll be a fun experience. I'm really hoping to get some vlog content in for you guys. So yeah, March 10th to March 14th, I will be at spring training and in Miami, bouncing back and forth throughout that 4 or 5 day span. What's up, Matthew? Great member on the channel. It says, if Senga wins Rookie of the Year, do we get that bonus draft pick since he'll be up all year? Honestly, I don't know, Matthew, and I apologize. It kind of dawned on me not too long ago that, yeah, Senga is available for Rookie of the Year. It feels bizarre to say, given someone at his age. But, yeah, I would have to look that up. If anyone knows in the live chat, by all means, comment it down below. But I seriously don't know. So, yeah, Matthew, my apologies there. Shouted Darren in the live chat, another good friend of mine, great member, all the way from the UK. Love your show. Thank you so much, Mark. Happy to have you in here. Who am I most excited to see in spring? Like my co-host Joe Sorrell said in our Bleav in Queens podcast the other night, make sure to check it out if you haven't already, folks. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm beyond pumped up to see Kodai, especially in person. I'm hoping that he's going to start one of the days that I'm there. But not only Kodai, I'm really looking forward to the Beatties, the Alvarez's of the world. But just everyone that's really going to be attending, like, aside from the norms of the, I actually shouldn't even say that, because when I'll be attending, at least a lot of the guys are going to be away for WBC. I think the Mets have 9, 10, 11 or so guys I'll be away for WBC, and Cleveland, Alonzo, McNeil, etc. But Senga's definitely going to have my eye for sure. It's just hard not to be excited about what he can bring to this team, along with everyone else that's going to be there trying to battle for spots. And that bullpen. That bullpen's going to be very interesting because there's going to be Mets trying to figure out who's going to be the lawn man to start this year. You know, the McGills, the Pearsons of the world, are they going to be starting AAA as starters? Is one of them at least going to make the Mets out of camp as a lawn reliever? Like, a lot of big questions and decisions that need to be answered and figured out by the Mets front office and coaching staff. But yeah, overall, I'm just really looking forward to all of it. Have you heard anything about Britton? I just know he's worked out with teams. I know the Mets were one of the teams that were there when Britton was doing his workout recently. However, I will be surprised if the Mets land Britton. I don't think the Mets are going to land a reliever again unless they have minor league options, because God forbid if injuries happen, they need to make sure that they have guys that they can bring up that have some upside that potentially can even crack the bullpen throughout the year by impressing, but also send them down if need be. There's going to be a lot of roster transactions that happen that a normal 162, and that's why it's important to make sure that you have enough guys that have those type of options in control. Yeah, shout out to you, Darren. Happy to have you in here, brother. Steven, I really have high hopes for Beatty, as do I. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Beatty does. I think he's going to ball out in camp. I think his glove is still going to be rusty, but hopefully we see more strides than what we were initially seeing in that small sample size when he was rushed up last year with the Mets. Will Steve Cohen re-sign Pete Alonso? I fully expect him to sign an extension. Whether that's this year or next year, we'll find out. Do you see us getting Britton? Yeah, I just answered that already. You think Bauer will ever get signed this season? No, I don't, honestly. I don't think he will play for a team this year with the way that things are going on his front. Do you think that the new catcher will handle the Mets pitching staff? By new catcher, you're referring to Omar Narvaez, and yes, I think he will. Narvaez isn't a defensive stud by any means, but he's the type of veteran that should be able to handle the Mets staff with ease. And also keep in mind, this isn't a Mets staff where, you know, you have like guys demanding things be like, yes, Scherzer, Verlander, these are big personalities, but they're going to be working with the catchers constantly. It's not going to be a situation, I think, where you see like how we see DeGrom and Syndergaard in the past, where they like kind of demand wanting one specific catcher. I think Narvaez is going to adjust perfectly fine. Do I see Canna staying in left all season? I think he'll get some reps at center and right just because injuries are inevitable. I would be, as much as I would love to be proven wrong, I do not expect Starling Marte at all to be healthy throughout the entirety of the year. Marte just comes off as a type where, especially as he gets older and being the type of dynamic action figure-esque player that he is, I think that he will unfortunately deal with more ailments. And now that he's in his mid-30s, is not getting any younger. So you're going to need fill-ins, right? And even with Tommy Pham, you know, Canna is diverse. Canna can play all over the outfield. He can even play first base. He can play a little at third if you need him to in a blowout game. He can really play most positions at least solid. Just has a little bit of not a noodle arm, but he's not known for his strength there in left. But to answer your question, yeah, Canna, I definitely expect him to be playing at points more than just left field, because odds are the Mets will deal with ailments and they'll have no other choice. And thank you for the compliment, Darren. I appreciate that. Who's the guy you're most excited to see this spring? Yeah, I think I answered that already, Jenny. I hope that next giveaway I win in the next stream. Anyways, congrats to Ida and Edwin. Yeah, Michael. Hopefully one day. Again, I know when we have over 20,000 subscribers, you know, naturally I would love to give away stuff to you all. And hopefully at some point we will be able to do that in either just simply, you know, a merch way, just giving away something simple as stickers, like whatever it would be. Just something cool to give back to you guys for just being great supporters over the past couple years. Thank you, Dante. I appreciate that. Terry Collins is now a consultant. Dave, also shout out to you, my man. I haven't seen you in a show in a comment in a little bit, so I'm happy to have you back in here, Dave. We got to get back in contact soon. I got to reach out to you, but again, hope you were doing fantastic. But yes, shout out to Terry. He is now back in a somewhat of a front office role as a consultant for the Miami Marlins with Kim, their GM. Let's go. Definitely got to pay a visit. I live in Boca Raton. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Look out for your boy. Again, March 10th to March 14th, I'll be in spring training / Miami for World Baseball Classic. Take on Sengo's really bad bullpen session. Where did we see at a really bad bullpen session? I never heard that he had a terrible bullpen session. Yesterday he was up to 96 on the gun, throwing 50 pitches in bullpen array, which looked good. He dealt with some issues on the slope angle of just the mound, getting accustomed to that. But I didn't hear anything that he had a really bad bullpen session. So enlighten me on where you found that from. Heyman said he had a bad bullpen session. I don't know. Even if he did, it would be the least of my worries. The guy is having his first bullpen as a Met in North America. Like, yeah, it's okay if you get work if he gets worked. That's like the equivalent in the past when we've seen DeGrom give up a couple bombs in early spring, being like, "Oh, he's cooked." Like, no, that's not how that works. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't have any worries on the Senga front currently. We'll miss you. Oh, well, I hope you have a great time. March 1st to the 3rd. That should be a lot of fun. Dominic, my man, I'm going to try and make it down between the time you were down there. Oh, for sure, Dominic. Yes, definitely try to reach out to me either on the channel or through my email. If you don't have social media, I would have loved to meet you, Dom. Always appreciate you and your great hospitality, generosity over the past couple of years has been, beyond something that I could ever, say thank you for. So that would be awesome, Dom. Absolutely, we'll make that happen. I love the Super Bowl commercial. I really did. Love the Mets. And do you think things like this? Yes. I don't know if it has. I don't know about international players in the future as much as I do just in general. I love that Cohen's kind of really putting the Mets on the map here in the Big Apple and kind of saying, we're the big dog in town. That it's kind of a fu to the Yanks in that sense, like an unintentional one on going out of their way to spend the amount of money you spent on just a 30-second Super Bowl commercial. So you got to appreciate it from Steve. Who do I have the highest expectations for this season? Oh, that's a very good question. Highest expectations this season, I think I probably have to go with I think I need to go with part of me wants to see Edwin, but I think I want to stay. This is tricky because for pitching, you could say Verlander because he just won the Cy Young. But it's like I feel like us Mets fans are almost like blocking it out that Verlander is coming off of a Cy Young award-winning season in his age 39 year, coming off of 2 years of absence thanks to Tommy John surgery. I have unbelievably high expectations for Verlander, but I also don't expect Verlander to dominate last year the way he did last year this year. I think Verlander will surely regress this year, not in a negative way. I just think like it's very realistic and understandable Verlander say becomes a 2.5 ERA pitcher. And I think that's more than fine as long as you're getting the innings and the type production that you hope from him. If he is better than that, then amazing. But I'm not getting like my hopes up too much. I know that he's getting paid an absolute bag, but I also know the guy isn't getting any younger. So that will always be something where there's an air of caution. But from an offensive standpoint, obviously the highest expectation I have is with Pete Alonso. I mean, Pete averages 40 plus bombs a year, 100 to 125, 130 RBIs a year. So he's always going to be a guy that I'm looking at. Appreciate that comment though. Thank you. Let's see. Do you think that it's interesting that we will get to see Kate Upton at Citi Field? Yeah, like jokingly, yeah. I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that I can meet her sometime this year. I'm hoping that I could get my brother to meet her just because my brother adored her when he was younger. Like most, guys that are in their mid to late 20s, naturally. Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see her there for sure. And their kid too. It's gonna be really nice. They seem like a really, really nice family. Any word on Marte injury? No update. Just expectation is that he should be ready to go for the season without a problem. And hopefully, gain spring games in. I feel like Ryan Mauricio's potential impact this year is being slept on. I don't at all, Kyle, honestly, because Mauricio isn't going to touch one game in the majors this year. So I think the only impact we're looking at is him in the minor leagues. I mean, the guy hasn't played above above double A. So like best scenario is that he starts this year in triple A. And unless a ridiculous amount of injuries happen and Mauricio becomes the next best thing since sliced bread and warrants a call up, I don't expect it. There's guys ahead of him right now, and Vientos and Beatty among infielders that are a step above Mauricio. Mauricio still has some work to do. I mean, I love the guy. It was great to see him dominate and be the MVP from the Dominican Winter League, but he's also someone that is not even a top 100 prospect right now. So he still has his work to do for sure. He hasn't blossomed as he hasn't developed the way that I think the Mets were initially expecting him to when they originally signed him in comparison to the other international signings that they've done during that period with similar hype, and also the guys that they've drafted around that time frame too. But again, still plenty of time, very young. What happened with Chafin? Chafin didn't want to be here, clearly. And the Mets, the D-backs gave a offer that was similar to what basically the same money he would have been making in Detroit, but for a team that will be around 500 this year. D-backs are a very sneaky team and potential to get another mil or so with a bonus of so total 7.5 million. Mets weren't going to pay that. I'm not surprised. That's why they didn't sign him a year ago. So it is what it is. As much as I would love Andrew Chafin, the Mets have had like 4 opportunities the past 2 years and they haven't done it, which is telling to me that he's likely never going to be a Met at this point. Unless we get some things going by the trade deadline again. Yeah, it is. That is a new sign. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Kelly, for being a sweetheart and gifting me that sign as a late Christmas gift. I wasn't ready in time and I hadn't seen them for a little bit. So when I was with them around a week ago, was gifted that. So yeah, very awesome sign. Very happy to have it. Shout out to you, Kelly. Really, really appreciate it. The Opera Mets YouTube. That's cool. Let's see here. Let's see what other questions we got. I know there was a donation too, so I will get to that. I'm just trying to stay true to the comments at the moment, the pace of them, guys. So bear with me. However, I will get to that comment quick, and then I'll screw up a little bit. GD, thank you so much. Thank you for all your work. I appreciate that, GD. Thank you so much. Say for the new season, what are the top few series this year you're looking forward to the most? Great question. So I haven't completely deep dived in that schedule. I've looked at it. I panned through it. I've seen their matchups against American League opponents and stuff. Like for me, I'm really looking forward to the American League matchups the most, I would say. I think that's it's so unique. It's so different. Like when the Mets are back in Boston, I'm looking forward to that. I'm tempted to go to Boston too, because I went to Boston actually with a 7 line towards the end of the season in 2021. Mets lost because Marcus Stroman was on the mound. Figures. But it was still a really, really fun experience going there to that one. Or actually, pardon me, it might have been Taiwan Walker on the bump. But either way, it's a guy that isn't Met anymore. But I really like those matchups against the American League. Just seeing them, like even going to Minnesota to play the Twins against Carlos Correa, there's going to be some drama there. There's some fun ones for sure. And actually, why don't I just go on the Mets schedule real quick so I can give you a definite answer versus kind of just spitballing on the few matchups that are popping in my head. Let me give you a more genuine answer here. So looking through the schedule, among like the guys that the Mets normally don't face and will be away, I am definitely looking forward to the ones that I just listed to you guys, but also looking forward to matchups like, let's see. Ooh, yeah. I mean, even the final, I know this is kind of silly to say, but even the final series of the year against the Phillies, that's holy shit, pardon my French. The Mets play the Phillies 4, 5, 6, 7. The Mets play the Phillies 7 times in the final 2 weeks of the season. That's going to mean everything. That's going to be insane. Absolutely nuts. The Atlanta Braves series are always going to be heated. We know that. But a series I'm also looking forward to. My birthday, August 30th, Texas Rangers at home, Citi Field. I'm likely going to go to a game on my birthday. That's a Wednesday, 6:40 p.m. Eastern time. Is Jake going to pitch that day? Is he going to be healthy? If he is, I mean, that'll be quite the sight to see Jake return to Citi Field like that. So those are all different types of matchups I'm looking forward to personally. And yes, rest in peace to Tim McCarver as well. Not only a phenomenal, pardon me, not only phenomenal broadcaster for the Mets for over a decade, but a great player too. He was a little before my time, like when it came to true fandom, watching the Mets every day. However, I'm very aware of Tim and who he is and the impact they had on not only the Mets organization over the years, but overall what he had as a player. And again, it's beyond unfortunate to see him pass. I saw not only Gary Cohen, but a lot of other people in the Mets organization across baseball as a whole that just gave some very heartfelt messages towards him as he has unfortunately passed. I Bleav, correct me if I'm wrong, around the age of 81. So rest in peace to Tim. My condolences with him and his entire family during this time of grief. But let me get to another comment here, and then I'll get to your other ones that aren't donations. Dave, thank you so much. Mets at trade deadline or next year. Ohtani, Machado, Burns. Yeah, if give me at least one of them. Burns is definitely going to get traded before he hits the free agent market. That's a lock after how mistreated he's been. That there's like no denying that. Love this stream. I'm a bit late. I missed the giveaway. You did miss the giveaway. I apologize, Ed. But next time that we do a giveaway, hopefully you'll be here for that one. Great supporter here, no less. So let me get to a couple more comments I see from earlier. Let's see. If Alvarez has an amazing spring, do you see him as a player to go north of the team? I don't think it's impossible for Alvarez to start the year with the Mets. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I do think he's going to start the year in AAA and make his way back into the Mets roster at some point throughout the season. That's kind of what I'm believing the most at this time. But again, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to try to succeed. Omar Narvaez is going to be at the World Baseball Classic representing Team Venezuela. So, he's going to get a lot of reps at catcher, him alongside Nito. Yeah, he is opting out Machado, and we'll see what that brings. Did hear that to a degree, the Mets were keeping an eye and were aware Machado's opting out, which was not too much of a factor regarding Correa, but just something they kept in mind. All right, this off. Rest assured, Machado's available, and he will be. The Mets will, at minimum, be interested. So we'll talk about that more when the time comes. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was, Manuel. Thank you. Do you think Vientos is going to replace Darren Ruff as the right-hand DH? Both of them, I don't really know what to expect. To be honest with you, I really don't know. That's a wild card still. Not too concerned with it either because I don't expect either of them to have the utmost significant impact on them. I think Tommy Pham is actually going to get some decent time at DH. Not only just playing time with Cannon left, but I do think Pham's going to get a little bit more time in DH than maybe what some people were expecting to start the year, personally. What date will I be at the ballpark? Will I be at Clover? I'm planning to be there most days from March 10th to March 14th. I might not be there for like at most one of those days, but like there's going to be some days where I go to a Mets spring training game and then right after I drive to Miami and I go to a World Baseball Classic game. So my goal, I'm looking at minimum of going to at least 5 games during that 5-day span of not only spring training for the Mets, but World Baseball Classic with potential of like 6. So yeah, a lot of stuff's going to be happening during that time with other creators. It's going to be a lot of fun though. A lot of Mets rumors out there from Light Blue Sports. I don't know who Light Blue Sports is, but I assure you that if you do not see me covering a Mets rumor, then you really shouldn't care about it. Okay. I cover pretty much everything that you need to know about the Mets. So if you're not seeing me going out of my way covering a rumor of a player, a potential acquisition of immediate, like heading into this year, especially if I'm not covering it right now, I got to say, you really shouldn't give a rat's ass about it because, I covering the Mets is literally my livelihood, and I pride myself on that. So if I'm not covering it, odds are there's a good reason for it. So don't believe everything that you see. Again, I don't know who that person is, though, in my defense. But again, if I don't know, that's another reason as to why I wouldn't care about it too much. Oh, Asia, I'm sorry I missed your comment. Regardless, though, I'm happy to have you in here. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Polar Bear not being in the Super Bowl commercial? It is what it is. It would have been nice to see him and McNeil, but not losing any sleep over it. Wait, who do I think pitches more innings this year, Justin or Max? I think Justin does, honestly. I think Justin does because I think even though Max did a great job this offseason working on his body and his oblique, Max has had more injuries of recent than what Justin has. Take away Justin Verlander's Tommy John. He's been healthy like the majority of his career, and he knows his body really, really well. And Justin isn't the type to overpush himself the way that we've seen Max kind of brush things aside. So while I do believe that Max has a better self-awareness on things for now and going forward throughout the year, there's still something about Max's ego, which in the moment I could see taking over. Just a matter of to what degree. What are the expectations for Quintana as a number 4, number 5 starter? Shit, if Quintana can just pitch to, he had a really, really good year last year, but my expectation for Quintana this year is, 3.5 ERA pitcher. And that's perfectly fine. Like, that's more than fine. If the Mets get that, I'm not complaining at all. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for with Quintana. 3.5 ERA. If it's better, great. Maybe I'm lowballing him. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit considering he just bounced back for the first time in multiple years since he's really pitched well and consistent and handled injuries. But Quintana, I'm sitting around 3.5 ERA. That's kind of what I think with him. Who do you think that fans are going to be giving some of the last boost to the Padres when they come over to play? Yes, and I think it's going to be very heated. It's going to be a very heated series against Padres this year, and it's going to be awesome. Padres are star stacked once they get Tatis back in 20 games into the year. It's going to be electric, great games. I'm actually planning to go to San Diego when they're in San Diego in the summer too. To hang out with my buddy Borna, who covers the Padres at Hogwatch. So rest assured, I'll keep you guys up to date on how all that's going. It's good. Every match against Padres is going to be very intense. How's it going, Carl? Happy to have you in here. Hey, Rory, I'm down in Port St. Lucie, and for the third day, I'm hearing the biggest story is a struggle Senga is having adjusting the ball mound. Yeah, there isn't too much else to talk about, so that makes sense. But again, this is the time for Senga to have these struggles. Baseballs at the MLB level are not only inconsistent as shit, they are shit. So many people in the game will tell you that, but they're slippery. They're very, very slippery. There's so many different things about a normal MLB baseball versus the baseball that you're pitching in Japan for the MPB, Nippon Pro Baseball. And the slope as well as an adjustment for him. So he's going to be fine. This is just something that, again, this is what spring training is all about. This is why he's not going to the World Baseball Classic. It's to focus on things like this. Let's see, guys. Looking up all your comments. I'm like just under 10 minutes behind the comments, so I apologize. But again, I am trying to do my best on answering these for you guys. I grew up watching and listening to Tim as a Mets fan. He gave me my first exposure to the sport along with Kiner. That's awesome. That's awesome, Miguel. And again, it's saddening to see him go, but that's awesome that he was he played a part in your development as a true Mets and baseball fan. That's always great to see. Best actor on the Mets? I got to go with Lindor. Funny enough, he's on the screen right now, just because he's already done his fair share of commercials. He's got the pretty smile. I love him. I mean, I'm gonna favor him in a lot of things, but he was very nonchalant about it. Like when I was like, "No, you hang up," it was fine to me. So, yeah, probably gotta go with Lindor. What's up, Chris? How are you? And yes, every buck presser is a masterclass. Absolutely. And guys, to everyone chiming into my 250 plus live viewers, thank you guys all so much for being in here. Make sure to continue smashing that like and subscribe button. It really, really does mean a lot. Again, thank you for your endless support. Also want to know, question you guys in the live chat for people that have been watching since the start of the live show. Let me know your thoughts on the new and improved intro for this year for our post-game shows. That will be the same intro more than likely for post-game shows, even after losses. The only difference is that I will not be having Meet the Mets playing. I will have just a subtle, calm song playing. That way fans don't start ragging at me saying, "Oh, why do we have an upbeat song, Meet the Mets, when the Mets just got pistol whipped by the Braves or something," right? So let me know what your thoughts are on the new intro when you can. I'd greatly appreciate that. Again, shout out to Jacob once more for being an absolute G, one of the official Wardy editors of the 2023 season. Who do I think will perform better, Verlander, Scherzer, or Senga? It's hard not to say Verlander, right? I think it will go in that order, honestly. I think it will be Verlander, Scherzer, and Senga in production. Here's a hot take for everybody. Because of the fact that Senga is an unknown on what his development's going to be this year, this might be a fairly hot take. I think Jose Quintana is going to pitch better than Kodai Senga for at minimum a portion of the season, like at minimum 40 games of the year, if not 80. Like I really think that Jose Quintana is going to surprise some people this year, as that savvy vet, that southpaw, either in the middle of this rotation or towards the back end. And with Kodai, again, he has a lot of adjustments. So while Kodai's ceiling potential's through the roof, but I think for what the absolute minimum could be, what the floor is, I like Quintana's floor a lot more than I like Senga's. And this is someone who absolutely adores and loves Senga. Again, he's such an unknown. We're like, it wouldn't shock me at all if he ends up being absolutely horrible for like a week or two, because we just don't know. This is all an adjustment for him. Yep. As someone said, Quintana is in the 96th percentile in stopping home runs last season. Yeah. Jose Quintana was the best pitcher in baseball last year in home runs per 9, for those that aren't aware. Kind of really good. Do you remember your very first time going to your first Mets game and also your first Mets game at Citi Field? First Mets game, yes, I remember. It was Shea Stadium. I want to say I was 7 or 8 years old. Mets were playing the Rockies. I'm pretty sure they were wearing their black jerseys. Then my first time at Citi Field, if I'm not mistaken, it was Bartolo Colon on the bump. Mets won that game. I forget who they were playing. We were sitting by the foul pole on the right side, my father and I, and the Mets were wearing the really dope like military uniforms that night. So just like all camo. Very cool. Yes, I think he's going to get a very wide mix of boos and cheers. That's what I think is going to happen. Yes. Yes, he does. From that car commercial. Yep. Everything everyone's worried about with Singh is actually, in a sense, a plus for me. Once he gets adjusted to everything mentioned, yes, exactly. This isn't a mechanical issue or anything of that nature, right? It's just him and getting acclimated with everything that North American MLB baseball brings. And yes, he does have wear and tear on his arm because when you're a young pitcher, and Senga pitched in the MPB for a decade, I think some people don't realize that. He was worked a shit ton. That's normally the case when you are a pitcher in Japan. They overwork the heck out of young pitchers, especially. So while I don't wish it, I also do Bleav that there's very much a possibility that Senga has Tommy John surgery during his Mets tenure. Hopefully that just isn't for at least a couple years from now. That's why the Mets have very interestingly clauses on the contract of Senga based on Tommy John surgery and things of that nature. Or it could be a situation where if he deals with a partially torn UCL, but pitches okay enough and is effective enough, like Masahiro Tanaka, for instance, which is exactly what he did during his entire tenure in the Bronx with the Yankees. Tanaka had a partially torn UCL his entire time in the States with the Yanks, but didn't need TJ for it. So just one of those things that we'll have to monitor with Senga as he gets acclimated. Do I think Verlander? Yeah, I absolutely do. I mean, I think so. I don't think like Yankees fans absolutely despise Verlander, but look, he's going from the Astros in which he kicked the Yanks' ass to the Mets, who, if you're a rational Yankees fan, you don't like the Mets, and vice versa. So yeah, I expect it. What do you think will happen to Darren Ruff in the future? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's just going to be on this roster until if he really bounces back, then great. And if he doesn't and guys outplay him, then he'll be part with. It's as simple as that. I don't think Darren Ruff is going to be a detriment for the Mets this year. I will say that much. I think one way or the other, I don't think he's going to be like, oh my goodness, he's single-handedly losing the Mets ball games. Okay, there we go. I was a little unfocused, but I think I'm better now. Saw a 15-year-old that has other teams. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young studs in the DR mark. I'm not too surprised by that. Yep, that's exactly why you do international scouting. Very cool, though. Happy to have you in here, Mark. Shout out to you. At the end of the season, I think the Mets will have had been platooning Beatty, Escobar there. And DH, it'll kind of be indicative on how much is Beatty gain playing time at third, if at all. Alvarez, I think it's all going to be, changing. I don't think there's going to be someone that's playing every day at that position. Buck likes to mix things up. I think it'll be like kind of, a little bit of an unknown every day based on matchups for those positions. Did I feel relieved as a Mets fan when the Astros beat? I mean, relieved in the sense I never want to see Philly sports succeed. So seeing the Eagles lose and seeing Philly lose 3 major championships over the span of a couple months is great. First was the MLS with the Philadelphia Union. Second was the Philadelphia Phillies with the World Series. And third was just last week with the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. So that always felt good. But I think when it comes to the Phillies overall, I never felt like intimidated throughout their run because it was one of those things where like we all saw how good the Mets were against the Phillies throughout the year, right? I get playoffs is a different animal, and who knows what would have happened in postseason because the Mets again did not have their mojo. So maybe if they did match up, the Phillies would have maybe pistol whipped the Mets. We'll never know, but from everything that the Mets exemplify throughout the Phillies throughout the year, like really making them be a poster boy of how to have the most miraculous wins imaginable. I mean, the Mets won 13-4 or so, something along those lines, right, against the Phillies last season. So I wasn't really all that surprised by the Astros beating them the way that they did. And again, Phillies had a great run, fell short, and now they're going to look to have a bigger run this year. Rough MVP calling it now. Who says no? I love saying his personality, as do I. Yep. And he already loves pizza. He's just like me, for real. Yeah, we love him. Dave, thank you so much for that donation. I appreciate that. Dave says, my first Mets game was a banner day doubleheader versus Cardinals in 1967. Wow, that's crazy. Mets lost game one, then saw the banners. But I got sick between games and had to leave early. When I got home, I got a doctor visit. I had a high fever. Sorry you were sick for your first game, but if there's anything that you being sick for your first game helped you with, it was helping you remember that game because it was memorable one way or the other for that doubleheader against the Cardinals in 67. That's crazy. Appreciate that donation, Dave, and for that story. That's awesome. Besides the you getting sick part, obviously. And thank you, Chris. Yeah, I mean, God forbid Joe doesn't make at least one sexual reference throughout a Bleav in Queens podcast. The world would be such a different place, right? Appreciate that though. Why anyone talking about Vientos? My gut feeling is he'll have a breakaway season this year. I would love to see Vientos ball out this year. Just one, how much opportunities is he going to get? And that's about it. Because he's not going to play the hot corner much at all. Don't expect that. The guy, unless we see in spring training, he just becomes, unless he becomes like a Nolan Arenado in the hot corner all of a sudden, a Matt Chapman, if you will. I don't expect him to get much time there. He'll likely be more DH, which will hurt more of his development as a position and player, even though I do believe that he profiles best as a DH going forward, or even potentially a DH corner outfielder like a Nick Castellanos type is the kind of vibe I get with him. Tommy Pham expectations, I think he's going to be a very solid guy to have off the bench, taking time away from Canna because Canna doesn't play every day. So for the days that there's a favorable matchup against left-hand pitching, especially, that's better for Pham. He'll face then, you're going to see Pham start one of 3 games a series in left field, no games a series in left field. You might see him start 2 or 3 at least. I think him and Canna are going to balance well, making sure that each other stay healthy and have favorable matchups, along with also getting some reps at DH for sure. It's a situation where the Mets are viewing Lee, innocent until proven guilty, which I agree with. Don't get me wrong, the accusations are definitely concerning and disgusting, quite frankly. I pray that they're false. Not that I wish any issues to come for that woman, but to know that she wasn't hurt and that didn't happen, that would be the best scenario for all. I really hope that's the case. But again, if it is proven that Lee is guilty of what he's been accused of, then the Mets will make the right course of action and part with him. That is pretty much inevitable. Who do I see starting on the bench to start the season? Luis Gourmet, Tommy Pham, Omar Narvaez when he's not starting. That's 3. How many more? How many bench spots? Can you guys enlighten me on how many spots you usually have on the bench? I'm trying to think. Because I know bullpen you have like 8 or 9, but bench, what you got? Bench is 4 or 5, right? 5. Okay, thank you, Grant. So Pham, Gourmet, Narvaez. Pham, Gourmet, Narvaez. And then probably Rough, honestly. I know it bothers people. And Vogelback. Totally forgot about Vogie. Wait. Vogie's going to be DHing bit. It's going to be somewhere along those lines. And then it's going to be the matter of a Beatty or Vientos if one of those 2 cracks. Oh, Danny Mendick. Thank you for saying that, Grant. I completely forgot about Danny Mendick. Yeah, Mendick's definitely going to have a chance to be off the bench too, which I'm cool with. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring. He has versatility in his game for sure. Solid bat. So add Mendick in that mix. Yeah, I could definitely see Mendick being with the Mets off the bench. So yeah, So Mets are deeper than I think people even seem to realize, actually, including myself, because I totally forgot about Mendick for a minute. Yeah, they're just rumors. There's nothing of substance to that right now. That's pure speculation. Who's Trevor Williams replacing him this year? That's what we're trying to find out. That's what the Mets have to figure out. Is it a Peterson? Is it a McGill? Is it someone else? Like they're gonna get that figured out for sure. Yep, exactly. Short and sweet and to the point. No new updates on Britton. I wouldn't get hopes up on the Mets signing him. If they sign him, cool, but I wouldn't get hopes up. Tim Castro, I do not expect to make the Mets out of camp. I think he'll be starting the year in AAA for sure. He's a speed demon. The Mets would use him when called upon and when inevitable injuries happen. Elizer, yep, that's a potential too, for sure. Again, a lot of guys are going to be competing. Let's see. Met have. Oh, and guys, help us get to 200 likes by the end of the live show. We're around 80 away. Continue smashing that like and subscribe on. It really, really does mean a lot. Thank you guys all so much in advance, folks. Again, appreciate everyone that's been chiming in on this Friday evening. We are going to be wrapping up the show sooner than later, but again, I want to get in like close to an hour of just answering your guys' questions because we haven't done something like this in a bit, as I mentioned, and I got to get my damn graphics figured out. I'm annoyed by that regarding my Photoshop. So I got to figure that out. But that's besides the point. Yeah, just my damn my storage is full. I got to free up some storage. How about Ridings, Coonrod making the pen spot? Ridings, I don't see. I think he's going to need reps in AAA to start because he hasn't pitched in a minute. Coonrod's definitely a potential, as is McFarland, the lefty, who was with the Cardinals last year. There's a lot of interesting guys who will try to be making a name for themselves. Brigham is another name who definitely has a solid chance of making it. John Curtis, which I think a lot of people are forgetting about. John Curtis signed with the Mets a year ago, didn't pitch last year due to Tommy John or whatever injury he had, but the Mets purposely signed him because after he was done rehabbing, they were planning on bringing him into the fold for this Mets bullpen. So that's definitely another name. Nagosic will be competing. A lot of guys will. We haven't talked about Joey Lucchesi yet, so that's a fair thing to bring up, Josh. Lucchesi is, again, still working his way back. We'll see how he does in spring, has been pitching some BPs. Love me some Joey Fuego. What I do recall, especially from Joey, is that he is someone who has changed quite a bit of his arsenal, has added multiple pitches. I remember him doing a presser when he was coming back from injury last year in the minors. Was asked how's his arsenal looking. He said, I've been working on some pitches. Still has the curve, of course, but that's another wild card to enter the fold of the bullpen. Grant Hartwig, yep, I know that we've had someone throughout the year. I don't know if that was Ed Flood or Strachan. I think it was one of you guys talk so much about Grant Hartwig throughout the year and putting me onto him because I didn't even know who he was at the time. Some Mets fans have known about Grant Hartwig longer than I have. Followed him since the beginning of last year. He went through every single Mets minor league team last year and absolutely dominated. So he's another reliever, a non-roster invite to keep an eye on, among others. Have a great one, Chris. Happy to have you in here, brother. What do you think Carlos Beltran being with the organization will do for Lindor? I mean, I think it helps a lot. It helps him with just understanding New York expectations as a fellow Puerto Rican, New York Met, and just understanding newfound analytics, just really being able to kind of put him under his wing in a way and be the right mentor for him. I see a lot of fans that have been complaining that why would the Mets make this hire when Beltran was part of the Cheese scandal. I'm like, I'm sorry. Are we forgetting that Carlos Correa was part of the scandal? Are we forgetting that George Springer was part of the scandal? Two guys I know a lot of Mets fans would have loved on the Mets, but it didn't happen. Like, I don't know why we have to single out Beltran when he wasn't the sole reason why the cheating scandal was happening. Yes, was he a factor? Absolutely. But to think that he's going to bring cheating ways to the Mets is absolutely foolish. It's like, for example, uh, I don't even know what's the proper example for it. I just think it's a silly mindset. Beltran with the majority of his career without doing any such manner, and now we're going to think that that completely defines him. It doesn't. I think people deserve second chances. I think he fits in that category. So I'm personally against the notion that Beltran was a negative hire. I think he brings so much to this Mets team, and especially building this front office, actually having a championship level player in the front office who knows what it takes to win, knows what it's like to be in the players' shoes and understand their mindsets, because Billy doesn't have anyone currently around him like that. There's no one in the Mets front office as a former player, especially to the caliber of Beltran. So this will help a lot for Epler and his perspective of players and negotiations and things of that nature. It's only going to be a plus for him, and for Beltran, he'll get a chance to really understand more of the front office scene and see where that wants to take him in his future in baseball. Zach Green, yep, the Mets picked him up, of course, in the Rule 5 draft. That's another guy to keep an eye on for bullpen, because if he does not crack the Mets bullpen like their roster, then he would be going back to the Yanks. Matt Harvey pitching for Italy. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Definitely influenced by Mike Piazza being the manager, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how Harv does. And for Harvey, he's just going to hope he can pitch to the best of his ability and try to, have that benefit him with getting back in the league. Aside from his suspension, I don't know if his suspension is done or not with baseball, but I know he was suspended for what it was at least half a season, right? Because of the Tower Skaggs, really unfortunate situation. But with that being said, everybody, that is going to wrap up the live show. I think that this is a good time to wrap things up. So again, to Edwin and Ida, congratulations on being the giveaway winners. Apologies, Elgood. Next time we do a giveaway, we'll make sure that you're chiming in for it. But make sure to reach out to me on social media, guys. I'm sure you have already, or you will soon. To everyone that's chimed in the live show, thank you all so much for being in here. I greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned. We will have plenty more content next week and the weeks going forward. And then eventually, March 10th to the 14th, I will be in attendance for spring training, just a little under a month away from that. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to covering Mets spring training games in a week from now. That's going to be absolutely electric. And again, thank you so much once more, guys. We'll be having post-game shows back at it with you. Random podcasts, live streams, interviews on our podcast. A lot of fun stuff coming up. So until then, have a great rest of your night, day, evening. Whenever you're watching this, have a great weekend. And this is Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out, everybody. LFGM Wilson.